A tired traveler checks into a cheap roadside motel late at night. The clerk looks up from behind the counter and warns him, "For your safety, do not look into the mirror in room 6 after midnight." The traveler thinks it's just an old urban legend, but he decides to play it safe anyway. As midnight passes, he settles into bed and drifts off to sleep. But at 12:03 a.m., he wakes up to what sounds like fingernails scratching against the glass. Being tired and a bit paranoid, he sits up in bed and listens intently. Then he hears it again, scratching, clawing, thumping. Whatever it is, it seems to be coming from the mirror. Despite his better judgment, he gets out of bed and walks slowly toward the mirror. As he stares into the dark glass, he sees a faint glimmer in the reflection. At first, it's just a tiny outline, but it grows larger and clearer with each passing moment. Then he sees that the reflection has a smile on its face, though he isn't smiling. It takes a step out of the mirror, and he screams. The reflection turns and gestures for him to follow. As he watches in disbelief, it steps out of the mirror completely and begins to walk away. He runs after it, desperate to understand what's happening, but before he can get close enough to touch it, it disappears. He turns back to the mirror, but there's nothing there except his own confused reflection. Then he hears a whisper coming from the glass. At first, it's barely audible, but it quickly grows louder. "You shouldn't have come here," the voice says. "You shouldn't have looked in the mirror." He whirls around to find the source of the voice, but there's nothing in the room but the bed, the dresser, the desk, the chair, the door, and the mirror. The voice continues, "No one ever looks in the mirror after midnight, but you did. Now I'm free." The voice seems to be coming from everywhere and nowhere at once. "Now I'm free because of you," it whispers. "And now I want to show you something." It begins to tell him things about himself, things he's never told anyone, things that no one could possibly know. It tells him about his childhood, his fears, his regrets. And then it tells him things it shouldn't know, things that are impossible, things about his future, things that will happen if he doesn't do something to stop it. He paces the room frantically, trying to get away from the voice, but it follows him everywhere. Finally, he runs to the door and throws his weight against it, desperate to escape. But it won't budge. He can feel the doorknob turn in his hand, but the door won't open. He turns back to the mirror, but the reflection is gone. He can see only his panicked face staring back at him. He screams for help, but no one can hear him. He pounds against the glass, but it won't break. And slowly, inexorably, the scratching sound begins again. He looks back. His reflection is stepping out of the mirror once more, beckoning for him to follow. This time he does. He smashes through the mirror, tumbling into darkness. By morning, the sun streams through the window of room 6. The bed is neatly made, the sheets pulled tight, the blankets folded in half. Suitcases sit untouched beside the bed. The only sign of the guest from the night before is a smear of dirt on the otherwise spotless carpet. And in the mirror, a terrified man pounds on the glass, screaming for help. The motel's new maid, oblivious to the danger, grabs the cleaning supplies from the cart and heads in to clean.